morning, brother. So today we're going to be reading a chapter out of The Way of the Superior Man by David Deida, D-E-I-D-A, I don't know, Deida. We're going to be reading chapter 12, Be Willing to Change Everything in Your Life. It's page 39, chapter 12, if you want to read along. Oh, we're at the lake right now. We're just chilling, getting some. I was hitting a ring workout, but I had to make a video real quick. A man must be prepared to give 100% to his purpose, fulfill his karma, or dissolve it, and then let go of that specific form of living. He must be capable of not knowing what to do with his life, entering a period of unknowingness and waiting for a vision or a new form of purpose to emerge. These cycles of strong, specific action followed by periods of not knowing what the hell is going on are natural for a man who is shedding layers of karma in his relaxation into truth. So basically, I feel, this is so weird because I feel those periods of very intense focus. I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, and I do my best to do those things. I do those actions that I know are going to give me the benefits. And then followed by that, a lot of times I'll kind of feel depressed. I'm like, what's even the point of life? Because I don't know what to do right now. Everything is kind of dull. The things that I've been doing, they're kind of, they're not really calling to me the same way they used to. But this book, especially this book is great. Get this book if you don't already have it. Him saying this and him writing this, it kind of gives me closure and peace to know that, oh, okay, so that's normal. Not knowing when I'm not having direction sometimes, that's a normal thing. Let's continue. As you open yourself to living at your edge, your deepest purpose will slowly begin to make itself known. In the meantime, you will experience layer after layer of purposes, each one getting closer and closer to the fullness of your deepest purpose. It is as if your deepest purpose is at the center of your being and is surrounded by layers of concentric circles, each circle being a lesser purpose. So think about it in Shrek when they said, life is like an onion or something. Onions have layers. It's that's kind of the same thing. And, as a dude, kind of your goal, if you're a purpose-driven kind of guy, you will shed those layers of purpose as you go through life. And at kind of the center of who you are is your central purpose. You might feel this in a certain way throughout your life, but it takes a long time, it takes a long time to actually get to that innermost purpose that you're trying to look for. Because everything outside is it's kind of like little stuff. It's little purposes. I'm just going to keep reading because that's what he talks about. The outer purposes are often the purposes you have inherited or learned from your parents and your childhood experiences. Perhaps your father was a fireman, so you wanted to be a fireman. Sorry if it's too windy. Or in reaction to him, you've decided to be an arsonist. In any case, the outer circles, the purposes you often apply to yourself in early life, are most likely only distant approximations of your deepest purpose. If your deepest purpose is to meditate and realize God, you might find that before you can totally dedicate yourself to this practice, you must work your way through the concentric circles of playing with sexual partners, using drugs, getting married, raising children, developing a career, and finally, having dissolved your fascination and need to do all of that, getting down to the business of full-time meditation. So that's interesting. It's saying that your deepest purpose, you might not have a linear path to that. It might involve if you've ever done go-karts, there's a path, but sometimes you'll bump into the sides and you'll kind of have to correct course like that. It's kind of like that. Where you're supposed to go. Most of the time you might have those periods of you don't know what's going on, but when you do know what direction you're trying to go in, to get around someone, you might have to bump into a wall and then correct course as you go. That's something that you might have to do. as you dissolve each layer and move towards the center, you will more and more be living from your deeper purposes. And then your deepest heart purpose, whatever that is, in every moment. However, you probably are not living in your deepest purpose yet. You probably need to burn off the karma or fulfill the need of the present purpose by which you are fascinated and distracted. So sometimes I feel like everyone gets distracted sometimes, but I kind of have that like thing where I'm like, oh, this is the thing I need to do. Oh, I have a lot of hobbies, so I haven't really mastered anything. That's something I'm working on. I talked to this barber, and he was telling me like, yeah, bro, find a few things that you can master, and then start to master other things, or things associated with that. Don't just like, oh, I'll be kind of good at this, and I'll be kind of good at this, and I'll be kind of good at, like, you're not really great at anything. So you might have some to offer, but it's not a lot, because if you can get super good at doing a certain thing, maybe it's speaking, maybe it's playing guitar, maybe it's, I don't know, coding. If you can get really, really good at something, like so good at that thing, the universe will just give you, what you desire, or what you need to fulfill that purpose. I forgot where I was going with that. But yeah, like, I get distracted by, hey, maybe I want to do guitar, maybe I want to do drums, maybe I want to become a pianist, maybe I want to become a pro cycler, going on doing Ironmans or something, like all these different purposes, but it's kind of a distraction from the main thing. But even if they are, not totally connected, they might still be a layer of your purpose. It's like, hey, to end up becoming a musician, you might have to become an accountant first. That might be just part of your path. And then, you meet someone, like, I don't know. There's hella gnats. I'm gonna flex real quick, because this lighting is interesting. I hope the sun, you can't even really see me, but I hope the sun isn't blinding you too bad. I hope I'm covering it with my, with my mask. Like, the gym is like, that's a layer of my purpose. Like, getting in the protein and doing all this stuff and doing all this. It's like, and then that has led to so many conversations and so many things. Let's keep it going though. It's easy to feel disappointed by life. Success is never as fulfilling as you think it is going to be. But there is a reason for this. Successfully completing a lesser purpose doesn't feel very good for very long, because it is simply preparation for advancing toward a greater embodiment of your deeper purpose. Each purpose, each mission is meant to be fully lived to the point where it becomes empty, boring, and useless. Then it should be discarded. This is a sign of growth, but you may mistake it for a sign of failure. For instance, you may take on a business project, work at it for several years, and then suddenly find yourself totally disinterested. You know that if you stayed with it for another few years, you would reap much greater financial reward than if you left the project now. But the project no longer calls you. You no longer feel interested in the project. You have developed skills over the last few years working on the project, but it hasn't yet come to fruition. You may wonder now that you have the skills, should you stick with it and bring the project to fruition, even though the work feels empty to you? So for me, this kind of happened recently. I'm kind of realizing, hey, I'm doing so many different things. I'm spreading myself so thin among, music, art, the gym, and then the main thing that I was thinking is Taekwondo. It's kind of just like one of those things that's like, I'm so close to becoming a black belt. I'm very, very close. I think probably another half a year, maybe 7 months, and then I'll become a black belt. We level up in belts pretty slowly, which is unfortunate, but I don't mind too bad. But it just takes, time away from other stuff that I would want to do. And I do like Taekwondo, but I feel like I'm not getting as much out of it as I get out of, perhaps journaling or reading or trying to teach people things, which is really interesting. But it's do I keep doing it? Do I keep pursuing it? Or do I discard that layer of my purpose? But you might be thinking, okay, well, what if it's just laziness? Boom, let's keep going. Well, maybe you should stick with it. Maybe you are bailing out too soon, afraid of success or failure. Or it's just or just too lazy to persevere. This is one possibility. Ask your close men friends if they feel you are simply losing steam, wimping out, or afraid to bring your project to completion. If they feel you are bailing out too soon, stick with it. However, there is also the possibility that you have completed your karma in this area. It is possible that this was one layer of purpose which you have now fulfilled. So you might not even have to master something. You can simply have worked at maybe carpentry or something, and you realize like, oh, that's not for me, but now I know how to do this certain skill of maybe trying to market, and now that marketing skill has led into something else. Now maybe that's leaning into business, and you don't want to do like the actual work. You want to be the person who brings the customer to, the person who's selling the product, or the person who's creating the product, I guess, because if you're marketing, yeah, sales. Anyways, as you dissolve each layer, among the signs of fulfilling or completing a layer of purpose are these. You suddenly have no interest whatsoever in a project or mission that just previously motivated you highly. You feel surprisingly free of any regrets whatsoever for starting the project or for ending it. Even though you may not have the slightest idea of what you're going to do next, you feel clear, unconfused, and especially unburdened. And then 4, you feel an increase in energy at the prospect of ceasing your involvement with the project. 5, your project seems almost silly, like collecting shoelaces or wallpapering your house with gas station receipts. Sure, you could do it, but why would you want to? So a lot of great stuff in this book. Yeah, just one more time. If y'all don't buy this book, I'm gonna have to write a book like over like the next few years. That's gonna be this book, but maybe even better or more relatable, maybe. Because this book, I feel like you have to be more of like a spiritually oriented individual, maybe growing up in religion or something to read this. I didn't really grow up in religion. I kind of just found it on my own. I was like, you know what? Like, there's a lot of good stuff in those books that they said, oh, like, those aren't very good books. Like, I don't know. Like, I see a lot of value in exposing yourself to things like this, because this is closer to like the source, the source of everything. Like the deepest layers of your purpose are more spiritual than, maybe it's to, what did it say? It was like meditation full time. That's very spiritual. That's very bringing yourself to like just a very deep and like present version of yourself. And then like a lesser purpose might be, I don't know, learn how to get girls or something like that, or learn how to cook, just random stuff that's like, it's not as big as fulfilling your life's destiny and becoming a monk or something. I don't know, serving God. Like, that's a very big thing, you know what I mean? If you experience these signs, it is probably time to stop working on this project. You must end your involvement impeccably. However, making sure that there are no loose ends and that you do not want to burden anybody's life by stopping your involvement. So don't be stupid about this. Like, oh, well, this project that I'm working on, it's a group project. It doesn't fulfill me, so I'm just gonna, piss off. It's like, no. You took responsibility for that. You said, hey, I'm gonna do, this part of the project. Get it done, have those loose ends. And then if you have that opportunity afforded to you to exit and pursue something deeper of your purpose, do that. This might take some time, but it is important that this layer of your purpose ends cleanly and does not create any new karma or obligation that will burden you or others in the future. That's basically what I just said. The next layer of your unfolding purpose may make itself clear immediately. More often, however, it does not. After the completing of one layer of purpose, you might not know what to do with your life. You know that the old project is over for you, but you are not sure of what is next. At this point, you must wait for a vision. There is no way to rush this process. You may need to get an intermediary job to hold you over until the next layer of purpose makes itself clear. This is an interesting one because it's less about the opportunities you're given, and it's more about how you utilize those opportunities. It's not, oh, well, like, I gotta find the perfect job for this. It's like, fair enough, you can spend some time doing that and like considering it, but if you get to a point where you're just procrastinating and you're not doing anything, and you're just being lazy, just take a risk. Dive in, because people who might not be as smart, they won't overthink about it. They will just do the thing. They will just take that plunge into the water. You know, someone who like overthinks about like, oh, like the, you know, like if they're gonna do a cold plunge or something, you know, like a lake, and it's, you know, February or something, to like, you know, get some mental hardness or David Goggins or whatever. They're gonna think about it, and they're like, well, like maybe I should look up like how long I should do it for like the maximum dopamine resetting or something like that. I don't know. This is just like off the top of my head that I can think of, that I feel like the kind of thing that I feel like I would say. But someone who doesn't overthink, they're like, oh yeah, cold plunge, and then they're just gonna jump in the water and not dip their toe in, and then the other toe, and then the other foot, and then slowly get in, and then it's just long, drawn out process. So they probably had a worse time, and now they're not gonna do it because it's like this long thing, instead of just you jump in, you're cold, it's painful, and then it's like, okay, you know, the body is starting to adapt. Anyways, let's keep it going. I feel like we're having a good time. You having a good time? I'm having a great time. There's no way to rush this process. Oh yeah, yada, yada, yada. But in any case, it is important to open yourself to a vision of what is next. You stay open to a vision of your deeper purpose by not filling your time with distractions. Don't watch TV or play computer games. Don't go out drinking beer with your friends every night or start dating a bunch of women. Simply wait. You may wish to go on a retreat in a remote area and be by yourself. Whatever it is you decide to do, consciously keep yourself open and available to receiving a vision of what is next. It will come. So don't dilute yourself and distract yourself with all these things that don't really matter. And they're actually going to take you further away from your purpose. They're like adding layers to your purpose in a bad way. Because what you want to do is you want them to like dissolve. You want them to leave. You want to move on to the next big thing that's going to, you know, fulfill you truly. You want the next thing that's part of your purpose. You don't want to just, oh, like I'm kind of bored and like I don't know what to do with my life, so I'm just gonna, you know, go, I don't know, watch a YouTube video, or I'm gonna go watch a TV show. Like my friend was telling me The Office was really good and they just had a new season of this show. It's like, don't do that. Try to actually pursue those things that are going to get you closer to that purpose, you know, opening yourselves up to opportunities and to ideas and talking to more people. Or like you say, like a retreat, you know, that's not such a bad thing. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to go on vacation and, you know, drink mojitos on the beach or whatever and kind of just, you know, not be productive at all. It's like, that's nice and that's cute and that's comfortable, but make the mind like look for those things. Like this video, I wasn't sure, like, hey, maybe I should make it. Maybe I'm tired. Maybe, you know, maybe I should like finish my ring workout first. But it's like, maybe I should fix my posture. But like, be receptive to what the world is going to give you, because the world is going to give you so many things. The world is going to show you so many things. Other people are going to offer you opportunities. You just have to be in a mind space that you're not diluted and you're not far away from your purpose, to where you see that same opportunity that someone else might see, but you're going to be like, oh wait, boom, that's it. That's the thing I need to follow. That's the thing I need to go after. That's the thing that I need to cast my rod, and I just need to reel that in and gain some momentum in whatever that is. And then the other person who's kind of like, they've been taking, you know, days off from, you know, like mindfulness, or they haven't been talking to people as much. They've been kind of lazy. They've been feeling lonely. They're a little depressed, a little anxious, you know, been eating too much Cheetos and shit. Like, it's such like, let's just keep reading and we'll see if we get anything else. When it comes, it usually won't be a detailed vision. You will probably have a sense of what direction to move in, but the practical steps might not make themselves clear. When the impulse begins to arise, act on it. Don't wait for the details. Learn by trial and error what it is you are to do. And there's a quote by, it's Alex Hormozy. I think he says, oh, howdy. And he says something about, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm chilling. It's like reading a book, trying to like understand it.
Cool.
Yeah. He says something like, what does he say? He says, let the define like the direction, and kind of like let the details work themselves out. Just kind of find that direction, move in it, and then correct course. Like we said, like the bumper car, it'll bounce off the walls, but it's still going to be moving in that direction, instead of like, oh, maybe like trying to plan it ahead. It's like you can't do that when it comes to life, because there's so many factors that you can't predict. Let's keep it moving. For instance, perhaps you were a stockbroker and then finished that particular layer of purpose. You saved up some money, so now you're waiting for a vision of your next layer. After 3 weeks of going crazy, not knowing what you are going to do with your life, you begin to feel that you want to work with people. You begin to fantasize about using your financial skills to help people set up their own businesses. You have a few friends who have great intentions to save the world, but they are lousy businessmen and can't seem to get off the ground. So you call them and offer your help. As you help them, you continually feel the groove. You feel for the groove of your purpose. You might have a few false starts, but eventually you find that dozens of nonprofit groups are telephoning you, asking for your advice. It feels as if the universe is supporting you in this direction. You have no idea whether you can earn a living doing this, but it feels right for now. So you apply yourself fully to it. You give your gift 100% without holding anything back. Being a purpose-driven individual, much, much, much more fulfilling than just pursuing, money or things or a certain type of, how do I say this? It's just one of those things you kind of, like it says, feel for the groove. You this isn't something you can explain. It's just something you have to feel, and you got to be in it. Like with music, when you're playing drums, there's a thing like you got to be in the pocket. You know what I mean? I guess if you're into music, you'll kind of understand that. But it's like you have to feel the music and the song to find the right rhythm, and then you get in the groove, and then you're like, okay, there's like accents here, like bah, 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 bah. Like you kind of feel for that, and you realize it's not something so much that you try to do. It's something that you kind of just are. You're like, okay, like when I'm performing like with other people, and you just find that groove, you're not even thinking about anything. You're so in the moment. You're so present. Like I've been in choir for, I guess, almost 7 years at this point, and at a last concert, like there's one particular song that I felt so present in. Like we got through half the song, and then I realized like what was going on. I was like, oh my gosh, like we're really in it. I felt the groove, and it felt right. And performing in front of the auditorium, all the people, it was pretty cool. But I felt so in the moment, and present, and I was there, and I was in the groove, and I gave 100%, and it felt right. And it's just something you do when you are. But let's keep it going. Soon, a wealthy man finds out about what you are doing. He admires your total commitment and your orientation to serve others. He becomes your patron. Now you are set. You have a good income, you are doing what you really want to do, and you are helping others. You love what you do, so you generate love in those who come in contact with you. Your life feels full. And then one day, a few years later, it is finished. This layer has dissolved, and the cycle begins again and again and again until you have penetrated all the layers in your deepest purpose. Then you act fully until that purpose too is dissolved in the bliss of love that you are. A little hippie at the end. Anyways, so that was chapter 12 of The Way of the Superior Man. Be willing to change everything in your life. Take these words with, wisdom, treat them with respect and journal about this, think about this, meditate on this, pray on this, because I have like this vision of myself, like, a couple of years in the future where it's like I haven't been following my purpose and I've diluted myself and I'm not who I really want to be, and I feel very just kind of, wishy-washy, and that's not where I want to be. I want to be pursuing that thing that is so important. So it's just something that I have to focus on. But thank you for watching. Have a good day. Look at the setup, by the way. Yeah, just a log.